If you work a full-time job and you want to swing trade without staring at charts all day, this week's breakdown will show you the trade I took last week on Palantir and also how I'm reading the market this week with the shortened holiday schedule that we have, and also the top three stocks I'm watching for this week. I'm Albert. I run the swing trading desk where we use the no chase swing method to plan trades at night and then let them execute while we're at work. So this week in the market is going to be a shorter week. On Wednesday, we have a half trading day, and on Thursday, the market is closed due to the holiday schedule, due to Christmas. And how that translates into my trading is for any day trades, I will be sizing down just due to more choppy price action. For swing trades, it doesn't really affect my swing trades as long as the zones and areas I'm trading off of are strong and they still make sense. So, in terms of how that affects seasonality, you can see that starting December, starting around the halfway of December, historically, we have started seeing stronger price action. So today is December 21st. So we are more than halfway into December. And so we can expect, just based on seasonality, it is very possible that we do have a grind up in the broad market into the close of the year, right? So that's just purely based off seasonality. So, on a purely technical perspective, I do agree with the bullish seasonality. I do see more bullish price action as of now. Um, and actually, at the beginning of November, it was a little bit of a different story, right? So, we had a very strong rally into the beginning of November, the end of October. And during this time, I actually called for a potential pullback about 6, 7, 8% in the market, just based on historical trends, right? And we kind of got that. We got a bullish price action right here. And then we started seeing indecision. We had 3 days of indecision followed by a broad market pullback. And this pullback actually caused a break of structure of this overall bullish price structure, right? We got a break of price structure. And so at this point, at the very end of November, it did look like price action was a little bit more bearish, right? Because we did have that break of bullish structure. But as price went on, right, we sort of invalidated this area of possible supply right here. So if we play price going forward, price completely invalidated this area. We did get a small sign of kind of selling pressure right here, but price simply continued up, invalidated the supply. And now, after doing that, it traded near all-time highs, did not break all-time highs, and it retraced, right? And so right now, what I'm seeing is we have old supply being completely invalidated. We have new demand being created, new bullish displacement being created. Price simply traded near all time highs, pulled back, filled back some of this imbalance, and now it is looking to grind higher. It is also respecting this key level around 6764. So if we go down to the lower time frame, the 1 hour time frame, these are the levels I have in play right now. So we have this demand structure around 67, 75, 6,800, right? So it is possible price retraces into this area and bounces off. If that happens, I'm obviously going to be looking to target longs. And we do have these couple areas of supply right here, right? We have 6855 and we also have 6885. Now, I do want to mention that even though we do have these areas of supply, I think they are going to be relatively weaker because yes, on the lower time frame, these were the origin of the move that caused kind of this micro shift in structure to the downside. But if we look at the higher time frame, the supply really didn't do anything, right? It just simply caused price action to trade back into this imbalance. It didn't invalidate any higher time frame demand. It didn't invalidate any higher time frame structure. It simply caused the price to trade back into an inefficient area where we are seeing buyers step up again. So it is possible that we do get a small reaction from the supply, but really, as of now, I'm not expecting much to happen. Okay, so now let's cover a short trade I took on Palantir last week. Now, I did post this on my private school before the move actually happened and actually as it was happening. And the move actually played out almost exactly as planned. So, kind of the explanation behind it is we had this higher time frame supply right here, right here. And this supply broke this bullish structure right here, right? We had a break to the downside. And as it broke, price retraced into the very same supply that caused the bullish break of structure. And if we zoom down to the lower time frame, we can see that price, once it traded back into supply, we started getting lower time frame signs of selling pressure, right? So we had some bullish imbalance right here and this supply broke that structure to the downside. And actually, it created new supply right here. So price created new supply, traded down, broke this structure, retraced into supply, created new supply again, broke this structure right here. And so my thesis was that if we traded back into this supply right here, that we were potentially going to get additional selling pressure where price could at minimum trade into this swing low, right? And on a very, very aggressive, I was looking to target lower if possible, where we have right some lower bullish imbalance right here, and maybe even lower price structure right here. But price never came back down to the lows. It simply tagged the local swing low right here, where I pretty much took almost all my profit, and then I got stopped out right here. Okay. So that was the trade that we took last week with the group, right? I called this out. Price traded into our higher time frame supply, created new supply. I entered, right? I entered right here with a stop loss initially up here, but then I moved it down here. And so I took most of my profits here, right? Take profit. And then I did have very, very small runners just in case we did continue to see price flush. And then I got stopped out of my remaining position up here. So that's the trade I took last week. Overall, amazing trade. Analysis was spot on. Followed the trading plan exactly. So a plus, A minus, an A trade. Okay, so that being said, now let's cover some of the trade setups I'm watching, kind of the swing trades I'm watching. So if I didn't already mention it, I'm a swing trader. I'm not really a day trader. So most of my setups are going to be longer term holds from days to weeks to months, right? And so these are setups I'm watching where if they enter my higher time frame zone, I could simply enter and kind of just set a stop loss and kind of set and forget the kind of set and forget. So the first one is going to be CRM, right? Okay, so CRM, we have this overall bullish demand structure right here. And this demand was responsible for creating price to go to all-time highs. So after price went to all-time highs, over time, we did get a retracement back into the very same demand, right? We had retracement mitigation right here, mitigation right here, mitigation right here. But as of recently, price traded into this area again, swept this structure right here. And after the sweep, we are starting to see bullish price action, right? So we had bearish imbalance right here being completely invalidated. We have new demand being created right here. And so because we are starting to see bullish price action on the lower time frame, right? We did have this previous supply get invalidated, and this supply right here is already weak, right? It's been mitigated right here. It's also been mitigated right here. And so right now I'm not really expecting this supply to hold up. And so because we have kind of new demand being formed, here, let me back up. Okay, so because we have a sweep, right? So some early buyers got taken out. We have new demand being created. We have old supply being invalidated. So I'm sort of expecting a shift of momentum to the bullish side as long as buyers can hold up price, right? I don't really see much downside to this particular name, just because to me, it looks like a lot of the selling has been exhausted and we are starting to see that shift in momentum. So right now, I already have an open position on this, just to be honest, or just to be open and transparent, right? I started dollar costing average around here, here, here. So if we can get a pullback into this area, that would objectively be a very, very good risk to reward trade where I can potentially start add to my position and hold for a longer term where I can target this supply, and even all-time highs in the future, right? Because we are trading within a higher, swing low, swing high. Okay, so that's CRM. Okay, so the next analysis is Grab. So overall, on Grab, if we look at the higher time frame, we do have a larger time frame accumulation, right? And if we look at the details of what happened to price action, this area of demand around, what is it? 4.73 and 5.01. This area of demand was responsible for causing price to create a near-term all-time high or a near-term high. And I say near term because if we go back to the monthly chart to the weekly chart, we can see that, price at one point in time was very, very high, sold off very, very aggressively. And over the past couple of years, price has just been grinding up. It looks like price buyers and sellers found acceptance at these price levels, and now it's starting to grind up on the weekly and on the daily time frame. So, okay. So that being said, this area was responsible for causing price to go to near-term all-time highs. And after reaching all-time highs, price retraced. So we retraced simply back into the same demand that caused the break to the upside. And now it looks like new demand is possibly being created. So we have a basing structure right here, followed by bullish impulsive move. And then price is trading back into that very same area, right? So I actually started a position on this and I called this out last week in my private school group that I'm starting a position right here around 4.98 because this is kind of the last unmitigated demand that caused this kind of shift in structure that we see right here. Price broke this area to the upside, retraced, and now I'm sort of expecting price to reverse. We also do have a key level at this area, which kind of built to my confluence. We have this key level at 4.85, right? And actually, if we look at volume profile, if we start our volume profile all the way from April 7th, which is the beginning of tariffs, right? We can actually see we have our point of control around $5. And so right now, my thesis on this bullish move is that we have overall higher time to demand, price coming back into this area and starting to show a lower time frame shift in structure. We have a key level. We also have our point of control at this area. So I already have an open position with a stop loss below our key level, below this structure right here. And I'm looking to target, somewhere within this area right here, right? So that's my analysis for my second stock I'm paying attention, eyeing for this week. The next one that I'm looking at is Adobe, ADBE. So, okay, so let's zoom out to the monthly time frame. So if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we can see that price, right? We have this demand right here that was the origin that was responsible for causing price to trade into this supply right here. Okay. And after trading into the supply, price simply sold off, sold off, sold off. And it's kind of been selling off ever since. But recently, right, price traded back into the same demand that caused the initial price to go up, right? This is really the last unmitigated structure. So if price fails this structure, That's very, very bearish for Adobe. So because it's the last unmitigated structure, I'm willing to put on risk here because my risk to reward is very good. And also the probability of price reversing at the last unmitigated structure is, it's really the highest point. It's the highest probability if price were to reverse. So price came into this area and now we are starting to see bullish momentum, right? So we have a lot of this previous supply. It's already been mitigated. It's already been traded into. So because of that, because it's been traded into, it is relatively weak. And I'm not even really considering it to be supply, right? And so we did create bullish structure right here. And so it kind of looks like to me, price is starting to reverse. Also, we did have this liquidity sweep right here. And after the sweep, we did get our impulsive move to the upside, right? And so it looks like price is starting to reverse to me. Now, if we go on the daily time frame, we do also have this key level around 338. So if we can get kind of a pullback into this general area, I will be looking to take a position on this trade. And because a lot of this previous supply has already been mitigated, I'm not really considering it to be active supply. And so I am looking to do something like this, right? Put on an entry around here with targeting at minimum, right? Kind of this area of imbalance, this area of supply where we also have key level right here at minimum, right? Because if we zoom out, we can see that we did have kind of a micro retracement into this key level. But our last supply, major supply is also around 500. So it is very possible for price to kind of retrace into 500 as well. So those are my analysis on the top setups I'm watching this week. And really, you have to remember to be patient because this week we do have a shortened trading week. So I am expecting a little bit of more choppy price action, even though we have bullish seasonality, even though we also have more bullish technicals, right? It can be more choppy. It can be slower grind up. So that's kind of just something to remember and keep in the back of your mind, right? So these are the type of setups that I watch on a daily and weekly basis. And I do publish this on my free weekly watch list on School. So if you're at all interested in getting my free weekly watch list of top names I'm watching and kind of the analysis behind why I'm interested in them, just click the link in the description and you can just join for free.